Hello again. We are back with the final matchup of round number one. It's two players who should need very little introduction for anyone familiar with ADV. It's the defending CALLOUS Invitational champion Hclat against Jirachee, who had a top 6 finish last year, a very good showing. And we are trading some spikes, both leading with Skarmory. Interesting, Jirachee opting to roar before the third layer. Gets Metagross, which is Hclat. I think, it's likely they both have a spinner the way they're playing this. The Hclat just opting to try to beat down the Skarm a little bit. Gets roared into Claydol, so there is that spinner. And Jirachee does have Gengar, which is going to block that spin. And we'll see what techs these players have as far as getting past Gengar. Charizard is the switch in, which blanks Will-O-Wisp. It can eat a Thunderbolt from maybe not a fully offensive Gengar, but probably a roll. But any other Gengar it can live, and T-Bolt will put it into Blaze range, which will OHKO a lot of Gengars with Fire Blast. We'll see if Hclat has sub, or he could click Focus Punch or something. It's looking like offensive teams for both here, at least relatively. If you're going to lead Skarm, that is generally a sign of a more offensive team. It's hard for Skarm to lead on more defensive teams generally, but does happen. And Hclat does have sub, and Tyranitar is the switch in, and Tyranitar is going to have to switch out, so it's looking, this is not easy for Jirachee to play around, but he can live a fire move here and break the sub with Gengar, and then it'll likely be a roll with T-Bolt, whether it's killing, and it might be a trade that, as there's a burn with Fire Blast, which will make things even trickier here. Hclat's last two, probably some sort of special check, and then maybe like DD Tar or something like that. Makes sense. Jirachee, it's pretty wide open still. Obviously there will be a rock resist of some sort, and also probably some sort of special check of his own. Maybe even a Jolteon as the special check of choice. Hclat opts to switch in Skarmory, knowing that that is not going to 2-hit KO unless it's like a very offensive Gar, and even then probably a roll. And Hclat is threatening to remove this Gengar. Protects, and will likely protect again here just to get a little bit of health back, or he could go straight to, no, he does protect on the blanked roar. As you see, Jirachee's Skarm is faster with the leftovers order there. Regice is the special check, and it's going to take those spikes. So even though Jirachee is not going to be able to spin block again, he is getting some mileage out of these spikes, getting the Metagross in and the Regice in again. Now Regice does threaten Skarmory with Thunderbolt, And Skarmory also does not want to be parried. One of the good things about Regice is that it switches into Zapdos without inviting in Skarmory for free, which stuff like Celebi and Blissey do invite in, at least early game. It's going to switch the Tar in, and yeah, Hclat predicts that, goes for Ice Beam. And now this Tar is mighty low. We don't know what kind of T-Tar this is yet, do we? Hasn't revealed anything. So Hclat could go to Claydol, yep. Pretty safely there. Takes Focus Punch. Claydol is outspeeding, so it's looking like probably a BKC Tar from Jirachee. And Hclat can pretty freely spin here. Now Skarmory is also quite free for Jirachee, but that will be an opportunity to get Zard back in, and we've seen that Jirachee is very shaky against Zard. So Jirachee may opt to pull off some double switches of some sort, maybe. Like Skarmory and then straight to Gengar, or Skarmory and then, you know, something that outspeeds and threatens a KO on Zard. We'll see if that happens. That's my guess, what's going on here. Or he could opt to click Toxic if he has it. And nope, he's just going to get the spike up again. I think Hclat kind of playing around a spike, and he gets the Gengar in on the roar, so that's nice. That is down. And yeah, Gengar couldn't actually double in because it was going to die to burn. So it would have had to have been something else. There is Jolteon, which I suspected as a possibility. Now, Claydol is generally accepted that Claydol is not a great matchup for Jolteon teams. And Jirachee's spin blocker is down. Regice can very comfortably switch in here. Even Claydol can possibly avoid getting 2-hit KO'd by Hidden Power still. Even though it's at, I think, like 82 or something. Jirachee could... Oh, he tries to catch that Claydol. And Hclat, expecting that Jirachee is not going to just click T-Bolt again, is going to either switch or click Hidden Power. Tries to Toxic himself, but he misses. So that was pretty big. Hclat says, I'm going to do it again. Which, you know, he could. I mean, Skarmory is not going to get O-Code here, even if Jirachee does click the T-Bolts. And he could view that as worth. Goes to Claydol, blanks T-Bolt, so Hclat is winning these predictions. And Claydol is at nearly full here, and it has a has a free spin, as we see. No more ghosting in the chat from Shitrock Enjoyer. This Jirachee has Baton Pass. Hclat does just get the spin off. But again, Jirachee's Skarm is at full, so it can just keep coming in on this Claydol. And we don't know if it has Toxic. It just has Drill Peck, which gets Zard there for good damage, but This Zard is threatening to sub up into Blaze range now. And if that sequence happens again, oh, he misses Fire Blast. Gets Drill Peck crit. Wow. Now, Fire Blast, I believe, is a roll to kill Skarmory from full. If I recall correctly, it's a roll, and yeah, that was unideal. Now, Drill Peck plus Sand could have also been a rolled kill there, but crit makes it no matter. Suicune last here for Hclat. Interesting that he opted, well, I guess since there's no spike up. I was thinking, you know, Regice was pretty free there. Jirachee probably has, I'm gonna guess he has Metagross. You know, that's generally the rock resistive choice on these teams over Swampert, although Swampert is also seen. So Hclat maybe didn't want to bring the Metagross in. Hits a fat Hydro Pump on that Skarm, so this is not a Crocoon. And instead of staying in, it's Regice that gets roared in now, which probably not the ideal roar, although it does, you know, take some spikes there. But Ice Beam is looking very free here, and it will pick up the KO on Tar. And it is Swampert over Metagross, so Regice prefers Swampert to Metagross, but also, you know, not threatening to 1v1 here. As 40% with Surf, so that's a pretty offensive Swampert, offensively invested Swampert. Now, if Hclat can wear this Swampert down, well, what does he reveal non-meta? Just Mash. I'm gonna guess it's probably an Agility Metagross. This is actually, this team from Hclat is very similar to a team that Jirachee brought last year in CI. And there's a Jirachee from Jirachee, which, looking pretty threatening here. Yeah, all Hclat can do is just roar, get that spikes. Jirachee's gonna take a lot next time, and getting Swampert there with the roar was pretty good. Very good, even. And it can live a Surf and get Toxic off. Jirachee expects that and brings his Jirachee back in. And now it's going to be very low the next time it comes in. Hclat is willing to make this trade, and it's Swampert again that gets roared in. Hclat's going to be able to go to Suicune here pretty freely, and he's threatening a KO on everything, really. Swampert should be able to live one here, I'm guessing, but that may not be what he wants, what Jirachee wants to let go, because at that point, if Hclat gets down to last mon Metagross, it may be poised to sweep. But this is not over for either side. It's going to come down to this endgame here. Hclat can definitely opt to CM here as well. He'll live one from Jolteon after Calm Mind. And what is Skarmory at? 32. Yeah, Suicune is definitely threatening to just sweep here. Goes straight for Hydro Pump, which is definitely fair. Cleans up the Skarm. So Jolteon should be able to threaten a KO on Suicune here, but Hclat has that Claydol chilling at 100%. This Jolteon has Toxic. It's looking tough for Jirachee now, I think. I don't know if, yeah, that last turn was tough. Jirachee might need to do some double switching, or maybe get a crit on this Claydol, potentially, something like that. If he makes the right plays, he can definitely still do this. And they are taking their time on this one. I'm going to say it's very unlikely that Hclat stays in here. You know, he needs this Suicune to deal with Swampert effectively. Does go to Claydol, and Jirachee does BP to his Swampert, which could be faster here. It's an offensive Swampert. Now, even a max special attack plus special attack Hydro Pump will not kill a max HP Claydol, which is something to keep in mind. But I suspect Hclat will just opt to... Well, I suppose going back to Suicune is pretty fair. Jirachee could double back to his Jolteon. I don't know if that accomplishes much, actually. Just opts to spin. That's very fair. That will make things easier for everyone. Excuse me, taking a drink here. And the Claydol is revealed as faster as well that turn. But Claydol is... Oh, let me get my mouse off the screen. Sorry about that. Claydol is no longer checking Jolteon too well now that it's low. But now that the spikes are off, Regice can do a pretty good job. Just opts to let the Claydol go here, and meta could be very well set up to just win. Yep, goes for agility. Now this could potentially be a roll here. Like I said, it is an offensive Swampert, so, well, crit removes any doubt. That probably did not matter. almost definitely did not matter. But it's going to wrap it up for Hclat here in game 1. And we'll see what adjustments Jirachee makes in game 2. Here we are with game 2, and we see another lead Jirachee here. Lead Jirachee versus lead Ments, which is the exact same lead matchup we saw in C versus Jumpy. And as I said in that game, Ice Punch is fairly free here for the Jirachee, if it's a mixed Jirachee with Ice Punch. Nope, it is another defensive Jirachee at lead, clicking the turn 1 protect, which is fair. Scouting the Ments. But now this Celebi is probably going to either get a free Leech Seed or a free Calm Mind. Cyber Odin coming into the chat to say good luck. Cyber Odin victorious in his round 1 matchup versus Jabba earlier today. There is the Leech Seed. Tyranitar is the Celebi response. Now, we'll see what kind of Tyranitar this is. No, we won't. Doubles back to Jirachee, which is going to get the Toxic off on Suicune here. So now Hclat can get a Wish off. This is what he's going to do first. And he could go he could stay in here, yep. Calm Mind's on the Protect. I'm going to guess this Suicune is carrying Rest. And it is a modest Suicune, I'm going to say that as well, just based off the damage. There is the Rest. Oh, it is raining. I don't know if you can hear that. I bet you can. Some ASMR here in CALLOUS Invitational. Salamence is in for Hclat. Now this Salamence could have Roar. If he's bringing it in like this. Yes, it does. And notably, Jirachee will only burn 1 sleep turn there after clicking Sleep Talk the first turn. And Jirachee has a Tyranitar of his own. Now this is another offensive looking team from Jirachee, so this may be likely to be DD-Tar, but one of the beautiful things about Tyranitar is that all sorts of different Tyranitars can fit on all sorts of different teams. Many different Tyranitars can fit on offense. And Hclat will have to probably reveal a different rock resist besides Jirachee here. Could potentially pivot Jirachee in first, but it's probably not going to be, you know, if it's a DD-Tar, he's not, he does go to Jirachee first. Takes 35 from Focus Punch. So, I think that's a, you know, pretty fizz-def Jirachee. Could be DD Focus Punch here from Jirachee, actually. That would not shock me. But also could just be a standard BKC Tar. And Hclat does pivot, like I said, brings in a Forretress, which makes sense. This is probably a Pursuit Tar from Hclat then. And it's got what's likely a Wishment to support Fortress. Actually, probably not a Wishment. He does have the Jirachee. But definitely could just be a mixed Mence with Roar, but could also be something like a Toxic Protect, Flamethrower Roar. That is not out of the realms of possibility. Some nice pivoting going on here from Hclat. As now he's threatening to live any hit from T-Tar here. But Jirachee is happy to just stay in. But now that it's intimidated, it's not going to be really accomplishing much against Jirachee. So, free wish there. Fire Punch gets a burn. Now, that's going to be really valuable chip here on this Jirachee if it's not recover. And Hclat will be threatening to pursue it as well. So, we could see Jirachee expecting Tyranitar to come in here and go to Suicune maybe, especially with the Leech Seed up on Jirachee. Hclat with some classic banter in the chat. I don't really think you need to apologize for the burn there anyways. I mean, you know, it's kind of what Jirachee does. There is Suicune, but Hclat opts to go to Salamence. Now, it has Dragon Claw. Takes a Surf. Jirachee could definitely opt to just go back to bed here. Nope. Hits Surf again on the Roar. I think Hclat probably was expecting either rest or switch out there. Probably not expecting just to get surfed. But Roar brings in Celebi, which probably can't stay in here. Salamence is outspeeding the Celebi and threatening a fire move. And getting Celebi roared in there is pretty tough for Jirachee because it's not going to be switching into much now with that spike down. Hclat could be considering a switch here as well, for sure. Tyranitar comes in for Jirachee, just clicks Fire Blast, which whiffs. And now this Tyranitar is poised to do some damage. What is Jirachee at now? 88. Could pretty freely click Focus Punch here. No, he EQs, trying to catch Jirachee, but blanks on Claydol. So it's a Claydol and Fortress team here from Hclat, which means the Fortress is spinless. Gets Toxic off on Claydol there, which is pretty big. And he can just, that EQ did quite a lot, but he's going to be able to protect, and I'm sure he will consult the damage calculator to see if he lives or what exactly the role is, I should say. This Jirachee is definitely a menace. Now Jirachee could... I'm trying to think of what he can do to kind of stop this Jirachee from doing what it wants to do here. What have we seen from Mence? Nothing yet. There is the protect. Gonna get the spin off, and the Hclat's gonna get the wish off. So Jirachee's gonna have to switch out here. And Hclat knows that, gets Toxic off on Suicune, so Suicune is gonna have to rest again here. And the answers for Jirachee against Jirachee are looking tough. I'm not sure. He might not even be, threatening a 2-hit KO with Tyranitar, and Tyranitar can get toxicked by it as well. And last Mon Suicune is looking very dangerous potentially against Hclat, but I'm wondering what the last is from Hclat as well. What would it normally be? Probably normally would be like Blissey, but I doubt Hclat is using Blissey. He doesn't use her too much. He does use her, but not too much. Jirachee gets Tyranitar in on Fire Blast there, but here is Jirachee again to just come in and wish and toxic and be unkillable. And there is the wish. Now Salamence will be back to full. Again, I'm wondering if Hclat has, he could have 2 booms here, potentially. It's we could be here for a while, is all I'll say. Because these players are gonna... Jirachee, I think, probably knows that he needs to get down to last Mon Suicune, but also wants to set it up in a way where he can, have Hclat low enough to where the Suicune can clean up as well. Suicune just booms there. And that's caught. Metagross is the last for Jirachee, which makes sense. And yeah, let's see, EQ only doing about 50. He can, I guess, fish for raises here and crits. Agilities, but I mean, how many wishes are we down to here? 7. Ooh, crit on the Fortress, which was gonna get the wish there. Jirachee can come back in and get the wish, but he can just keep fishing for crits here, really. Or you can go to Suicune, which is pretty well positioned now, with Fortress dead. As really all Hclat can do is come in and roar it with settlements. Now this Suicune is, yeah, he gets an actual sleep turn off there. Opts to go for Surf again. And now he's gonna have to switch. Or Rest, yep. I don't know if that was a roll to potentially kill. Probably not. I question that sleep talk there. Wow, Dragon Claw just kills. I think Jirachee was probably, he'd brought in T-Tar in that situation a lot of times in that scenario with the Ments facing down the Celebi. So he maybe, greeted a Leech Seed there or something, expecting Hclat to do something else. But he just Dragon Claws and picks up the KO. And now Jirachee's own Salamence is in, which, according to Sand and Leftovers, appears to be faster. Hclat has Jirachee at full here. This would probably be a good time for Hclat to reveal the last. But he doesn't have to. Nope, there is Starmie last. Wow, that is really not what I was expecting. But I guess it makes sense, kind of. Interesting team from Hclat. It's definitely looking like an offensive Starmie. Taking a whole 53 from Dragon Claw. And it's probably, it's going to be recover 3 attacks because it doesn't need spin. And it is kind of threatening to just win the game. Now that gets Calm Mind there, that's lucky. Jirachee is going to have to sleep this turn as well. And he's going to... Okay, Hclat's not even going to play that game. He's just going to switch. I was going to say that, he can PP stall the T-bolts while Hclat fishes for a crit, but Hclat not even going to play that game, just going to go to Ments, which gets surfed. Wow. Some pretty lucky rolls for Jirachee there, but, not anything crazy, I guess. But he did get exactly what he needed twice there. Now, let's see. Interesting turn here. Hclat threatening Boom, which will probably do, 60, 65, something like that. Yeah. Yeah, he's gonna have to just play this game now. And we'll see if he can get the crit. Jirachee will go back to sleep this turn. We'll see if maybe, Oh, wow. Never mind. I guess he didn't, he didn't have to sleep there. T-Bolt only doing 23, but... This game is looking pretty over, I would say. Because even if he does get that T-Bolt crit at this point, Metagross is at 100. I wonder if there's something different Hclat could have done in this mid-game. you know, this Suicune was always going to be a big problem. Hclat's team is some would probably argue way too weak to Crocone. But if he positioned maybe somehow differently, I don't know. Things could have been different. Yeah, Hclat goes to Claydol on the rest turn here, so he's probably going to hope for bad sleep talk roll here from Jirachee. Oh, wow. Never mind. It's definitely over now. I mean, I guess... No, yeah, it's over. I mean, this was a very lucky game for Jirachee, I think, but it was probably going to end up with a Suicune win no matter what. I probably shouldn't say that, actually. There was, well, not over yet. Probably going to need 2 flinches, though. No, wow. Nothing doing. I'm surprised that is a DD tar too. Wow. Well, I guess, don't need Pursuit with Claydol there, but pretty funky team there from Hclat, I will say. And the team from Jirachee might have been something he brought last year, actually. Pretty standard looking Claydol offense. And we're going to be treated to another game 3 here. And Hclat probably not going to bring something so Crocone weak this next game. Here we go, game 3, Tar versus Tar. Yes, B, this is CI. Skarmory. Very standard to come in facing T-Tar. As Hclat reveals he has Brick Break. Brick Break doing 23. I feel like that's more than... Yeah, he has Focus Punch. Brick Break, Focus Punch. Interesting. This is... I don't know if this Skarmory has, like, less HP investment or what. Possibly a Black Belt T-Tar? Yeah, I'm thinking it's Black Belt T-Tar. Maybe. Doing, 51 with Focus Punch and 23 with Brick Break. Goes for Rock Slide that time. Does a decent chunk to Milotic coming in for Jirachee, so it's definitely not an offensive team this time from Jirachee. Cloyster for Hclat. This is one of the things that Cloyster can do is, set up all over Milotic, spin against Milotic, Magneton for Jirachee, so unfortunately you're facing a Cloyster and not a Skarmory, sir. Matchup favoring Hclat so far. Hclat definitely, I would say, probably a more offensive team. Cloyster can fit on something a little more defensively oriented. Johnny G2 had a very cool team that he used throughout last year. That was more balanced. Cloyster, somewhat defensively oriented, but Cloyster generally more on offense. Toxic catches Jolteon there. So that's nice. That's very nice, actually. This Jolteon is probably a big threat to Jirachee. Jirachee would be in a pretty good position, all things considered, if he had hit the... that was an interesting turn. If he had hit the Toxic on Cloyster as well. Hclat T-Wave is expecting, you know, something to come in, whether it's T-Tar or Celebi or something, I don't know. Blissey. Oh my god. Jirachee clicked T-Volt again, not expecting the Jolteon to want to stay in. And Hclat is saying, did you know that Jolteon has Volt Absorb? Jirachee obviously does know that, but this time he probably can't stay in. Well, he can definitely still stay in, but there's Claydol. And Cloyster, yeah, well, caught very nicely, and a Spadef drop to boot. You know, on paper, Cloyster wants to see Claydol, especially, you know, compared to Starmie, but this is... wow. That is a big crit there. Obviously, Jirachee wasn't... well, I don't know. Yeah, that's just a big crit. Nothing else to say. Claydol was outspeeding the Cloyster. And now Milotic is outspeeding it, so at least Hclat's not going to be able to get a boom off here. Generally, Cloysters run more speed than this, but we have been seeing some slower Cloysters, I think, more lately. And Hclat's just going to have to let it go. He has the spike up, the spinner is dead, and now Jolteon here is free to just click T-Bolt and basically pick up a KO. Oh, it has Wish. Has Jirachee recovered there, knowing that he can live. And he'll do it again, yeah. He could do it one more time and then switch. Oh, yeah, I think that's probably the move here. Probably let Magneton go. Yep. And then maybe Skarm has Protect. No, he's not going to do that. He's going to go to T-Tar, which reveals lefties. Hclat still, you know, has half of his team unrevealed here, but we can make pretty educated guesses on what it's going to be as the last three. You know, Gengar, Starmie, Metagross, Swampert, Aerodactyl, DD-Ments. Or, you know, knowing Hclat, there could be something a little, some fun tricks in there still. Wow. I was gonna say that Hclat would probably opt to save the Jolteon, but no, he doesn't. Jirachee went for Focus Punch because he was thinking the same as I was. Didn't really matter, you know. Jolteon died that turn either way, but Now Hclat's Tyranitar is back in, and we've seen that he has the Brick Break. So Jirachee probably pretty safely go to Milotic here, and Hclat may double. Nope, just opts to Brick Break. And, you know, actually he is 33%. The Rock Slide did, what, 31 last time? A flinch here could kill the Milotic if it is a fast T-Tar, which, thinking it probably is. Double Edge. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Picks up the clean KO. Very cool set from Hclat, and just perfect into this scenario here. And now this Skarm, I think, has pretty much revealed it doesn't have Toxic. Yeah, so Hclat can just, and wow, not even letting Jirachee get a spike up or anything here. And Jirachee, I think, is in serious trouble here. His last probably can't deal with T-Tar very well, or he, you know, would have gone to it over Skarmory here, I think. So he's just trying to roar the T-Tar out. Man, not even gonna reveal any more of Hclat's team. That kind of sucks. It's an Aerodactyl, which Moltres, wow. Jirachee did click Rock Slide there. And now he's going to reveal his Rock Resist. And Swampert is just going to win the game. Went for Focus Punch there, which didn't have to. Doing it again. Jirachee is just trying to flinch this thing down at this point. GGs are out. Yeah, Hclat finally opts to go for the pump there, which does not kill, but Rock Slide misses. Ice Beam will take care of it. And this is going to be the set. Maybe Jirachee has HP Grass or something, no. But even if he did, Hclat's T-Tar was going to clean things up. And that is it. Defending champion Hclat. 1-0 so far. Looking poised for another deep run. And Jirachee will have to do it from lower bracket this year. That was a very fun set. Some nifty teams from both. I enjoyed it. And that is going to wrap up round 1, actually. So stick around round 2 starting next week.